I'm a trader here at Finmax. And let's get started shortly. Let's just wait, like always, for everybody to join. Hopefully, my sound is working fine. And we'll begin. Alright, let's see. Okay, it's looking good. Alright. I won't be waiting much longer because I want to get straight into this review for this week, for the outlook of this entire week. So once again, my name is Alfred Wright. I'm a trader here at Finmax, and this is a market review for the week of April 23rd until April 27th. Okay, so first things off, obviously, I'm going to start off with the economic calendar, and let's start off with today. We had a couple of reports already. Like right now on the French manufacturing PMI. In 28 minutes, so at 10:30 GMT plus, we have German manufacturing PMI, which obviously is a high volatile news. So forecast is lower than previous, and that's what we're expecting. So we'll see what happens exactly for that. However, that's not the main focus of the week, which I'll get in a second. Again, a pretty yeah, high volatile news for US dollar, the existing home sales. There will also be Governor Polis will be speaking. All right, the Australian dollar CPI, that's uh, I would say more important than what's today happening today. Um, Obviously a big report for the Australian dollar. We have a couple ones for euro. I wouldn't say they were heavily as important. However, we do have one for the US dollar, and that is the consumer confidence for the month of April for the US dollar. That's what's something that is definitely more important, or I would say, obviously, yeah, also volatile and will set the course for the future and upcoming events, news releases, and obviously the direction of the US dollar for that period. Now, we're looking into now Wednesday. Wednesday obviously being a week of a lot of different events, however, well, not the week, the day of different events, however, not in this week. We have only crude oil inventories happening, just the regular time like always, and again, Bank of Canada, government policy speaking. We're going into Thursday with a lot of more importance, I would say, a lot of more intriguing events that are happening. For example, what we have the highlight in terms of reports, in terms of the economic calendar, and that is the European Central Bank interest rate decision, which is forecasted to stay at 0%. We have the also deposit facility rate, which is forecasted to stay the same as previous, and the marginal lending facility as well. Um, Very huge all at once, and that's what we're exactly excited for the most. After that, we have the core durable good orders for the US dollar. Also pretty important, I would say, the initial jobless claim. So I would suggest to watch out for that. Obviously, after the report, we have the European Central Bank press conference. So we're looking for the full day to be, I would say, pretty volatile for the euro. Now we're going into Friday, and I would say basically from Thursday to Friday night, we have very highly important Jap for the Japan for Japan the Japanese yen news. We have the CPI, we have the jobs applications ratio, the industrial production, which is highly important, and then we're going into the highlight, the event that everybody has been waiting for as well, I would say, is the monetary policy of the Bank of Japan outlook report and the interest rate decision. Very big, obviously will spark a huge movement for the Japanese yen, and everybody knows already by this point, I think, that the movement on the on currency pairs against the Japanese yen offers the highest change in pips, so an amazing opportunity to profit, especially on the CFD platform. And obviously afterwards the policies and the reports and decision, we have the press conference like usual. Now, also Friday, we have a couple of more, I would say, neutral or medium volatile news like the French GDP. We have French CPI. What else? We have Spanish GDP. The German employment change, I would say yes, it's pretty important. And then we're going already. This is again after such a heavy, I would say, night. The morning, we're starting off with a lot of GDP news and the British pound, for Britain, the GDP as well for the year and quarter. That's really interesting. Then for Russia, we have the interest rate decision, which is forecasted to be lower than previous results by 0.25%. And we finish off the day with all of the GDP news, yes, for the US dollar as well. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Uh, let's see, okay, yeah, that's just the final business. Okay, that's pretty much for the economic calendar. That's what's happening this week. So obviously, my suggestion is to wait. If you're interested in trading on the news, is until Thursday and Friday. That's when the most important, the most exciting news are being released. That's where all of the volatility is going to take place. Now, also, what this week is going to be released throughout the whole entire week is the highest amount of earning reports. We're starting off today already, however, after the market closes, Google, which is under Alphabet, obviously, and I would say not confirmed yet is Gazprom. So that's Monday. We're starting off today. We're looking for tomorrow already for Caterpillar, Coca-Cola, and Twitter. So that's 24th, which is Tuesday. 25th of April, Wednesday, we have Amazon, eBay, and Facebook. And the most busiest day I would say is the 26th on Thursday. We have Barclays, General Motors, Microsoft, Starbucks, and Volkswagen. And to finish off this week on Friday, the 27th, we have BBVA and Exxon. So very exciting for all these earning reports that are being released. A lot of great opportunities, not only to profit from the economic calendar, the news are being released throughout the day, however, also closer to the evening or afternoon hours on the earning reports. So a lot of great exciting opportunities in terms of the news releases that are happening. Now, I would say, other than that, we have also, as everyone knows, well, not everybody, but this week is we have the French President Macron. He's visiting to US starting today, Monday, and there'll be obviously a lot of different reports and a lot of different, I would say, articles published on the fact what he's doing there. So will spark I would say, a good movement for the euro. Um, and other than that, yes, I think that's pretty much the most important in this case. In terms of, I would say, yeah, just releases. All right. Now, like always, let's look a bit on the technical analysis now. What we're going to look off, first of all, is obviously the euro US dollar. Um, Last week, we saw a decrease in its price. Why that happened was obviously an increase for the dollar. For the dollar is increasing for the past week. We saw that on the US dollar, Japanese yen as well. All right. So looking back to the euro US dollar, we're looking already, we saw it decreasing already, what, starting Friday and the end of Friday and today we saw already a slight correction happening. To better see that is to look on the 4-hour chart. We can see a perfect correction, an upper movement. We can see that already starting right here and the stochastic RSI. Looking at a 1-hour chart, um, correcting itself, we're looking at to cross the linear regression median line and move upwards even more, likewise right here. So looking up for that entire day, uh, yeah, I would say even for the up this week until the news are released for the euro and for the dollar as well, more intraday is a very good position to keep offering the euro US dollar to go upwards. All right. Look, British pound US dollar likewise, since the dollar decreased, since the dollar increased, we saw decreasing in the price, and uh, for yet we can see that the dollar index is still increasing. However, we'll see how that continues. We also saw the British pound index decreasing in its price. So we're looking for an increase. We're looking for, hopefully, for a correction for the British pound US dollar. We're seeing that correction finally. Let's see, since the opening of today, for the past couple of hours, right here, right at this level right here, which is perfect. A really great resistance levels, and it's increasing now. So hopefully it'll continue with that movement. Let's take a look at our 1-hour chart. Very slow, actually, I would say. It's 15 minutes as well. You can see the Bollinger Bands are actually becoming more narrow, so hope there'll most likely be a bigger movement. Based on the smaller chart interaction and looking at what happened right here, perhaps there will be actually a decrease in its price. That's what it looks like, and on the 1-hour chart. most basically from this. However, yeah, I would suggest to actually just keep an eye on it. If you're looking 4 hour, my bad, 4 hour chart right here is the price to reach closer to 1.40, 1.405. That'll be a better confirmation that the price is actually correcting already, or at least at 1.404. That would be better as well. All right, let's look at the US dollar, Japanese yen. Let's take this. I can even delete this right here. Looking at a Fibonacci level right here for the daily interval, we're seeing a lot of interesting different type of movements that are happening since the dollar had the best growth since what 2018. Um, it is above our levels. It's coming very close to the highest it's been since February. The dollar Japanese yen. We're looking at 4 hour chart. It doesn't look like it's stopping yet. It had a strong movement since the end of March, going upwards a bit slightly in waves and correcting itself. However, it looks like it will come to this level and perhaps even come over it and beat it. We can see, let me see closer a bit. Yeah, it's been very strong for the past week or so. It looks like it will correct itself slightly, however, will continue with an upward movement. And that will be a very realistic position to keep open for the US dollar, Japanese yen. If you take a closer look on, this is all the 20th. If you open one right over here, it is at the higher levels. Like I said, slight correction up to between 23.6, 38.2 percentage on the Fibonacci retracement level, and then continue going upwards. I would say that's realistic. Um, the US dollar, I think, will continue moving forward. There isn't a reason why today it will stop growing since the US government bonds, the 10-year yield is continuing to grow. So I think the US dollar will continue growing at this point. And again, that's mostly based on technical analysis. Economic calendar is where everything beholds, where it can change the movement for the day. So, and obviously Donald Trump's Twitter. However, let's look at Euro JPY. We saw what happened with Euro was a great increase of through December to 2018, and now it's a bit more neutralized. You can see down Euro USD. Let's take a Euro JPY. A bit opposite, we can see from February it had a very strong decrease period until March, end of March, well, middle of March. And since middle of March to now, almost end of April, we saw a great increase in the price. It was at the highest level in the stochastic RSI since beginning of April, and right at this level right here, it doesn't look like it can stay much. It doesn't look like it will stay much stronger in this percentage level. Basically, judging just from the stochastic RSI and the general movement of the linear regression and just the general movement of the price. So what I would suggest is, since again there are a lot of different European news, my suggestion is to look and trade on the Euro JPY based on the news that are upcoming. Now, to now it's correcting itself. If you look at 1 hour chart for today, it looks like the movement for now to go upwards is a bit strong. Um, Not exactly as right now. It can take a 15 minutes, you can see that. However, it does look like it will increase a bit more. I would say a couple more pips and potentially then decrease on a shorter term scale. So that's just for today. Other than that, for long term, I would go for the economic calendar and base my decision on that because potentially it can just surprise everybody and do something like this and just bounce up right here after being very calm, or then actually decrease. It's more on technical analysis based on a 50-50, and yeah, I would just wait for actually a better movement to go downwards or break this level right here, which it couldn't really fully do. All right. The British pound, Japanese yen. The British pound, Japanese yen had an amazing decrease. I would say amazing bullish trend. It was really well decreasing for the past week or so. If you can even see exactly by 300 pips, that's amazing results. Um, It looks like when it hit this 50th percentage level on the Fibonacci retracement, it's now correcting itself. Let's look at 4 hour. We can see that based on all the currency pairs related to the British pound, they're all correcting. It looks very good right now. I would suggest right now at this period, if that's 1 hour, it's decreasing for 15 minutes. Wait for it to decrease under the the medium level of the linear regression, and then take an upward trend. Or when it comes down again to the level 150.8, or like I said, the 50th percentage on the Fibonacci retracement, that would be a perfect position, in my opinion, to go with the correction of the British pound against all the other currencies. Looking at Canadian dollar, Japanese yen had very, again, as well, decreasing in the previous week and so. That's mostly actually due to the fact that Japanese yen is looking forward to be increasing, and hopefully that movement to increase will be sparked by all the news that are released, and that'll be great movement for all currency pairs related to the Japanese yen. Now, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, we're looking at already at the highest low next to the upper part of the linear regression. Stochastic RXI has been decreasing. It looks pretty neutralized at this point right now. Even correcting, hope we'll see. But this is not the currency pair to keep your eyes focused on. Other again, USD, JPY, Euro, and British Pound against JPY, they are more of the focus, and this is not as much, I would say, at least not for today. And now let's take a look at US dollar Swiss franc. We can delete this. US dollar Swiss franc, because of the US dollar actually, well, growing this week, we saw let's see what actually happened. So, yeah, the Swiss franc actually dropping, and you can see that relation of Swiss franc Japanese yen. Because of the Swiss franc decreasing and the US dollar big correcting, we saw a very strong trend this past week. We saw a trend which can be what 107, almost 180 pips. That's really amazing results. Today, it's starting already with negative change from the opening. We can see right now. Let's take a closer look at 4 hour chart. From the 4 hour chart, it looks like it's decreasing. This would be an amazing position to keep open because it could potentially decrease by around 50 pips. Just looking at 1 hour as well, it looks like it's decreasing. The trend is beginning to form. Looking at the 4 hour chart, it's a lot better looking. I would say 2 hours as well. Um, Again, that's just a slight correction. I think that will still increase and go past the linear regression, potentially, maybe getting up to around this level right here, 0.98. That's my outlook for the US dollar Swiss franc. US Swiss franc is the highest price it has since 2015, since what the Swiss bank did with the Swiss franc currency having that high volatile period. Let's see. It doesn't look like it will break through that level. Um, the public would say the public slash investors spec slash analysts, they're not looking for it to break. However, based on its performance, uh, I would say who knows. But other than that, US Swiss franc, it's a very interesting currency pair to look at right now. I would suggest to just keep your eyes open on it. Um, Trade on. There's a lot of news that are released, which hopefully might be very positive. Um, and other than that, I wouldn't say much on the technical base. It looks like it's decreasing. However, because that is the highest price, it kind of did slightly break it already when fasted. But 1.2 is a very high, the highest, and it's very difficult to say if it could break it or not. Judging by this very positive results since beginning of April, I would say even since beginning of March, it's very difficult to say. So, what I would say, I would just say keep your eyes open. If it breaks through it, then I will continue moving forward with it. That's my position. However, yeah, again, British pound, Swiss franc, decreasing the highest price it had since Brexit as well. Oh, well, so yeah, since 2016, since Brexit, which is very impressive for the currency pair. Um, it doesn't look like it's stopping. All the Brexit talks and all the negative, I would say, articles regarding Brexit, it obviously thought there would be a very heavy hit on the currency pair. So what we're looking right now, we saw that there was what almost a correction happening from the highest price since 2018 right here, end of March, and however, beginning of April, it broke expectations and now it's decreasing. Again, bit of correction. I would say just continue going upwards with British pound, Swiss franc, any currency pair against British pound. That's my suggestion. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Uh, what not to say that it looks like it's correcting really well. That's what happened in the past week. From the 3 days, last 3 days from Wednesday till Friday. Looking at today already starting with positive results, opening a bit lower. However, on the 4-hour chart, it does look like it should be decreasing. 1-hour chart, not so much. Let me see. It did have a really great uh, peak, I would say. Right now, on the 1-hour chart, looks like it's increasing. Well, it is increasing. You can see the trend of going upwards is really strong. Uh, Based on this, the fact that the boundary bands became very narrow, now becoming wider since the price is going upwards, I think you can see that on regarding any currency pair against the dollar. So just regarding the US dollar Swiss franc, I would say, or my US dollar Canadian dollar. My bad, I was looking at different ones. Yeah, I would say US dollar Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar right now is decreasing. I would take it off for this day at least. And you can see that Euro Canadian dollar as well, upwards for this day. British pound Canadian dollar upwards as well, obviously, since Canadian dollar is dropping. We have the British pound increasing. I would say that's pretty much for that. Euro GBP. Very interesting situation since the British pound looks like it's going to be increasing. So, and where's the euro standing at? Um, Again, more neutralized. So, decreasing, euro decreasing, British pound increasing. That would say more movement downwards. Okay, let's take actually a closer look. Looks more clear, I would say, for a longer term. Yeah, for a longer term, for our chart, that's more realistic of it decreasing for 1 hour. So for today, not as much. We saw very slow moving right here, and then very fast moving. But this is what obviously sparked that. We can see a very fast movement. Not a big pip change, however, yeah, I would say very fast for this currency pair, but not a big pip change. So Euro GBP, I would take it low. And that's pretty much for currency pairs. Oil, we saw a very high price area, which it was at right over here. And what we're looking at right now is nothing much than just waiting for Wednesday again on the crude oil inventories, which are scheduled to be positive, better results than previous, and that would spark a high, better movement upwards, I would say. Gold, a lot of it was dropping, was decreasing because of what's happening right now in North Korea. The fact that they're looking to sign a peace treaty in United States, South and North Korea. Um, Obviously, that would result on a negative, on a decrease on the gold itself. Everybody knows that gold is affected on the results of the US dollar. However, this is more of investors looking to invest into currencies instead of commodity because uh, they're not afraid of a war being sparked with North Korea anymore. There's a lot of more positive news being released in related to that. So gold is, I would say, less valuable in that case. And other than that, there isn't much. Again, stocks are more fundamental based on the reports itself. Um, I wouldn't say there isn't much other than just to look quickly on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The fact that it had first time since its very famous decrease, the first back-to-back weeks of having positive results. So two, three, yeah, two back-to-back weeks right here of, oh yeah, almost you can say three, but let's say yeah, two back-to-back weeks where it had actually a growth. Perhaps this is again a new beginning for cryptocurrency, a new beginning for Bitcoin. Um, Perhaps, who knows? I doubt it'll reach the level it was at 20,000, the peak, when it had just kept growing and growing and growing. So we'll see what happens. Maybe, maybe something new. Bitcoin Cash, see if it's growing as well. Ethereum, basically back to the level it was before 2018 hit. So let's quick look at Litecoin. Um, yeah, slowly, steadily growing, I would say. And Ripple, almost at the $1 mark that it was in the beginning of March. Other than that, it looks, based on this chart right here, it doesn't look like it will go back up to almost the $3 peak it had. The $3 peak it actually did have for a short period of time, but the $2, $1 area, it looks like it just will stay under the $1 right over here. So I would say that's pretty much for the technical analysis part of the market review. The fundamental, again, looking at the economic calendar and earning reports. That'll be that more of the highlight. And for CFD, looking at the interest rate decisions because they will be the highlight and the most volatile period and the best period to actually earn from that. So at this note, I'm ending the market review, and I'll see everybody next week, obviously for the market review, and I'm doing the next webinar, which is an educational webinar on Thursday. So that's actually starting, yeah, from gold accounts. So again, market review next Monday. I hope everybody will have a great week of trading. And if you have any questions regarding which asset will be heading, or what is an interesting position to open for this week, consult your expert. I hope everybody has a nice week.